such a screech. You'll shake and shudder in surprise when you hear these zombies shriek. Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls will shock your soul and seal your doom tonight. Spooky, scary skeletons.
Hey Vamps and Dark Creatures, welcome back to another episode of Blood Talk, and today we are going to be discussing the Lycans in the Dark World series. Now, my Lycans, or werewolves, as known by more popular culture, are the antithesis to the vampires. They are the vampires' main enemies. They are the vampires' foil, I guess. There's always been a hint of contention between the two breeds of creatures. So, yes, I wanted to use the original trope of vampires and Lycans fighting each other because that's all I knew when I started writing the book at 16, and it snowballed into this mythos that I created in my books where the blood of the both creatures can kill the other. So if a vampire got Lycan blood in their system by a cut or some way, or blood enters some way, then the vampire dies. And vice versa, same for the werewolf. So the two most popular werewolves in the series as of the first book that you meet are Lore, the first Lycan ever and the head of the Lycan group, I guess, and his son, Thomas Montague. Now they're both at odds with each other. So if you haven't gotten this far, I'm sorry, but continue reading, please. Thank you for reading in the first place. So Lore is he's only done the things he has done up until this point to foil Dracula's plans. So Dracula did something, he did the same thing. Not in the nicest way. Not that Dracula did it the nicest way either, but Lore's every motive is to kill all vampires. He wants to be the king of all dark creatures. Dracula is the king of all dark creatures. He wants that title. It's not clear why he wants that title. He just wants to see the vampires demolished completely. He could care less about any other dark creature in the world. All he wants is to end vampires completely. His son Thomas, however, he is more at odds with his father's ways. I'm trying not to spoil it, like it's really hard. I'm trying so hard not to spoil it for you guys. But Thomas wanted not to be human, but he wanted to experience things that humans did. So he found a woman, he got married, he's a lord, he's a duke, he has title, he's done all the things that he wants to do that are the direct antithesis to his father. He's very at odds with his father throughout the entire first book. Lore makes a point to tell him time and time again that Thomas's wife, Mara, is a waste of time. Don't need to be married to a human. This is not what we're supposed to be doing. He wants Thomas to kill Xavier. They just don't want. Lore just doesn't want his son to be distracted by human things. So that's basically everything from the first book that I can think of. I'm not going to exceed past that because you have to read the series to find out what else happens next. So Lore is very angry, very power hungry. He is very not bloodlusting in the same sense as the vampires are bloodlusting, but he just wants power. Not all Lycans, but he himself, the king of all dark creatures, is driven by power. And there is power in blood, which I explain numerous times throughout the series. The power of everything is in the blood. I think I did that because I myself find blood fascinating. I won't get too far into it, but if you follow me on Twitter, you already know this. I'm not gonna I shouldn't say it, but anyway, blood is very important to lore and to Dracula at the same time, but they go about acquiring this blood is synonymous for power in my series, so they go about acquiring this power in two very different ways. Yeah, lore is more about brashly moving forward and destroying everything in his path to get what he wants, whereas Dracula is very methodical, very calculated, very like same anxieties to get ahead and do what he has to do, but he goes about it in a completely different way. Very cunning, very beautiful, very seductive, whereas Laura is very brash, very masculine, very power is to the Lycans, I mean obviously because they're beasts, power is synonymous with very masculine of your masculinity of your notion of what power is. So there's some things that I don't ever get into, but in order for Lore to have had a son, he would have had to have bedded a human woman. And I always said in my head that, trigger warning, he forced himself on this woman, but I never explicitly say it in the book because I never wanted to breach that, and I never wanted to explicitly say it, so you can kind of come to your own conclusion about how this very powerful, brash creature had a son in the first place, and where there's never any mention of his mother. She's forgotten. She's probably killed, honestly. Yeah, so they go about securing their children in a different way. Like Dracula has a granddaughter in Alexandria Stone, and the first thing we learn is that is unheard of. No one even knows that vampires can have kids in that way. The question arises throughout the series, like, of how was Dracula able to even do this, and you will find out if you read further on. I can sit and talk about my books all day long, but I really want the readers to read it and come talk to me about it, because I love talking about my books. But yeah, so Dracula's way of getting his daughter and granddaughter was through consent. He made sure that the woman that he laid down with understood what he was, understood what was going to happen, wanted it, blah blah blah, and they went from there. But that is not to say that Dracula is better than Lore in any way. Absolutely not. Dracula has a long history of bloodshed and death and killing, and it's just in how they both choose to go about their nature, who they are. So yeah, so I wanted to make Lore the antithesis to Dracula. I wanted there to be that duality, because in my books there's always that duality of love and hate, good love, bad love, family, no family. There's always these dualities, and I like to explore that in my writing. So for my Lycans, the duality is them against the vampires. The vampires are really the main focus of the series, but I do explore other dark creatures. But that's the reason that we don't get that much insight into Lore, because he is, as of the first book, one of the antagonists, and I can't tell you who the other antagonist is because you have to read it. So yeah, so this was a blood talk about the Lycans in my series, and if you guys want to know about any other dark creature, dragons, elves, we can talk about anything else, just let me know and I will get a video up lickety split. I also wrote about each dark creature in the blood talk series on my main blog at scparris.net/blog, and I expanded on some of them in my Patreon for $1. So if you want to go back and read these and learn about the creatures without having to wait for another video, you can surely do that. And the blog is up. It's been up forever. It goes back years, even before I started writing the books. It's at separris.net/blog. Link is right there. It's going to be in the description. Click through, find the Blood Talk titled posts, and you can read from there. So, but I'm gonna do talk about more of my creatures and other writings that I'm writing, because Blood Talk is my writing vlog and blog, and I want to talk more about what I'm doing in my writing, so you guys aren't left in the dark. And if you guys don't like reading, you get this medium of me talking about them. If you like my face, or if you like just watching video, if that's better for you. So yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching. With Blood and Love, I am Essie Parris, and this has been Blood Talk. Stay tuned for another episode of Blood Talk. I will probably talk about whatever you guys want me to talk about, so let me know in the comments, and I will get right on it. Thank you. Bye.